Welcome back, Pokemon trainers. Professor Chaz here. The lab coat's on back order, and I've successfully returned from Hal-Con down in Halifax, Nova Scotia. It took place this past weekend, over Halloween weekend, going from Friday, October 30th, till Sunday, November 1st. I actually went down Thursday, a day ahead of schedule, to get pre-registered and everything. And this is basically going to be my little video recap of the event. Now, usually when I go to a convention, there's a lot of big things going on, like a lot of big-name celebrities and a lot of panels and other sort of informational things going on. I don't get super involved with everything like that. I generally go down to sort of, hang out with the people that I know. I've met a lot of friends through the conventions in the Maritimes, and basically I like to get a lot of photos of the costumes and just hang out. I will go to some events, though, so I'm going to let you know about the ones that I did go to. But a couple of the big-name actors that I'm particularly most familiar with, there's a few others, but there was Kirby Morrow, who's the voice of Goku from Dragon Ball Z. I guess one of the voices, because there's been several, but anyway. Definitely, he's one of the voice actors for Goku. And John Delancey, who played Q on Star Trek, and he's played, various other roles, but again, my personal, knowledge of the person and the character is Q from Star Trek. And also Amber Benson was another name I recognized. She was in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and apparently she's also been in Supernatural, which is a show I haven't really watched, so I'm not really familiar with her character in that. And there was other celebrities too. The name Emily Perkins I recognized. I wasn't sure from where, but I guess she was in the Ginger Snaps movies. And if you want actually a lot more concise and informative information about the celebrities that were there, go to the Hal-Con website, hal-con.com I believe it is, and you'll see the information of all the guests that they had. There was comic book artists, and I think there was maybe other voice actors too, and people from the gaming community, so there was a lot of big celebrities, a lot of cool names, and maybe people that you yourself will be interested in. And I know it's a little too late now since the event is already passed, but if a convention is something that you're interested in, stay tuned to Hal-Con's website and follow them on Twitter and Facebook and whichever. Get information about which celebrities are coming for next year. I'll tell you a little bit about that at the end of the video. And just if you're interested in the celebrities, keep your eye on Hal-Con. You might want to go there for next year in 2016. So my involvement was basically Thursday we went in, got pre-registered. I still got my bracelet on. I got to snip that off at some point. But we got the bracelets, which gave us early access into the event. And Friday was when everything got started. So on Friday, I didn't really get into too many things. I went in initially just trying to get some photographs and stuff. And speaking of photographs, I'm going to link you to my public gallery I put on Facebook of the different costumes and stuff that I got photos of. So that's going to be down in the description below. If you want to check out the costumes, click that link and check out my relatively meager photo gallery, because there was so many costumes this year. I couldn't get them all on photo because while you're on one floor, there's 50,000 other photos being taken down on the other 3 floors of the convention. So there was it was 4 floors of the convention. Top floor was the vendor area, and then the next 3 floors had the panels and gaming room and all sorts of other stuff going on. So I went in initially just getting some photos, hanging out, trying to meet with some people that I know. And the first thing I actually went to at 3 o'clock was this thing called Dorks in Dungeons. What this basically is, it's kind of like Dungeons and Dragons meets Whose Line Is It Anyway? So it's on stage, a live action role play improv kind of a thing, where there was 4 actors. They all were playing out a story, and as things came up where they had to determine, I have to overpower this evil troll in this cave, I'm going to roll for strength. So they'll actually roll a d20 on stage in a little bowl. We don't get to see it, but we trust them. They tell us what the numbers are. And I think the way they were doing it was if you get a 1 to 10 is a failure, 11 to 20 is a success, so it's a 50-50 chance. And if they roll success, they play that out. If they roll a failure, maybe they take some damage or something like that. So it was they kept it as this big, entertaining, really funny, interactive kind of a show, because people from the audience could shout out suggestions of what they should do. For example, there's a part, I think it was they faced a demigod up in the skies, and someone yelled out something about one of the clouds or something like that, the cloud was going to help them, or it had something to do with a flying magical bunny that they stole from a little girl. I can't remember all the details. But another funny thing that they would do is, at any point in the audience, audience members had these little tokens that were called reroll tokens. So at any point after one of the actors had rolled one of their dice for a success or a failure, somebody could yell out reroll, toss this token up on the stage, then the actor would have to reroll again. Lots of times they would still get the same result if they got a success. Throw a reroll token, they'd still get a success. sometimes it would actually reverse it and they would get a failure instead of a success, and that led into some fun situations as well. And a few times, I think twice, they managed to roll a natural 20, which in the terms of Dungeons & Dragons is the biggest thing you can get. Natural 20 kind of trumps everything, but with Dorks in Dungeons, a natural 20 means they throw candy out to the audience. And I got hit by a Laffy Taffy, and it was awesome. So we had, like, I think 2 instances of that. One of the actors was going around, through the entire audience, just whipping candy out of a bucket. That was pretty fun. So it was a really entertaining time to, really entertaining time sitting down watching the actors playing out this story. And I guess they did another one the second night on Saturday, which I didn't know, because when I first showed up at Hal-Con, they didn't actually have the schedules printed, so I had to go online and set up a schedule on their online version. So there's a few things that I missed out on, unfortunately, but there's actually a few things that I missed out on as well for other reasons, which we'll get into in like a little bit. But anyway, so Dorks in Dungeon was pretty cool. Next thing I managed to go to was at 7 o'clock that first night on Friday, down in, I think it was Granville Mall, or Granville Plaza. They had a live-action lightsaber demo going on, which essentially is, we got a whole bunch of people on the Imperial side, a whole bunch of people on the Rebel side, all with these glowy light-up lightsabers, and it was getting dark out, so it was pretty cool. They just had a big, huge fight clash going on, just lightsabers whipping around left and right, and they had, who was on the light side? I'm trying to think. I know they had Darth Vader for the dark side. I think the character on the light side had like a double-edged or double-sided green lightsaber. I'm not sure if they were playing any particular character or not, but it was still cool to see the double green lightsaber, because of course we've only ever seen Darth Maul use a double-edged, double-sided lightsaber, and of course his was red because he's an evil Sith. But it was pretty cool to see all that, and as you saw, I got some footage of that. The next event I went to was, as most good conventions, or I should say every good convention should have, a cosplay dance. And that was pretty cool. Just a few hours of cool music playing, just getting some dancing on, going around, having fun. Lots of people going in, enjoying the music, and a lot of traditional, standard music that they would play. Like, you can't have a Halloween convention dance kind of thing without Thriller being one of the songs. I didn't hear Monster Mash that I recall. I didn't stay for the whole thing, but Thriller was one of them, and they had Time Warp from Rocky Horror Picture Show. That's another standard classic one. There was one more that I know every good event should have. I just can't remember what it is right now. But cool music and good time. So that was the end of day 1 for myself. Day 2 started off a little on the unfortunate side, because I actually had to sleep in because I was so tired from not getting a lot of sleep the previous week and just trying to get up and get to the events on Friday that I slept in a little bit on Saturday. As it just so happened, I was late for the Back to the Future panel that they had. Great Scott! I wanted to go see it because they were talking about, it was supposed to be 30 years of conspiracies of Back to the Future, and something like I've done a lot with the Back to the Future movies. I've watched them all, and I've noticed some kind of inconsistencies and questionable things that can sort of be explained if you think about them in a certain way. So I was curious to see if they were going to be talking about that at this panel, but unfortunately I was late and I didn't get to check it out, and I had myself some breakfast instead. Just sat in the it was called the Mix. It's the food court in Scotia Square, which was a great place to go if you needed something to eat. It's not too far from the convention center. A lot of good options for restaurants you can eat there. It was a pretty good time. So I missed out on that panel, unfortunately. The rest of the day I kind of just milled around, checked out the vendors, and I'm going to show you the stuff that I bought. I got some really cool stuff that I want to show off here. So I did some vendoring, purchased some things for myself and some friends, and did some more photos. The next panel that I tried to get to was at 5 o'clock. They had a Pokemon Bingo event going on the schedule. And I thought, Professor Chaz, he knows Pokemon. I'm going to go and ace that thing. As it turned out, hundreds of other people thought the same thing, and it was so filled that the line was going, like, looping around, back down past itself. And the organizers were telling us that chances are the line is this big. Even if you get in line and wait, you're probably not going to get in because it's going to fill to max capacity. So I just said, all right, well, no big deal. It would have been fun to take part in, but since, it just simply wasn't able to happen, I just went and checked out some other stuff. Again, just more photos. I went down and checked out the gaming area, too. They had an entire section set up with pinball machines, arcade machines, a lot of the most recent consoles. They had Wii U and Xbox 360 and PlayStation 4. They had a lot of gaming going on. Pretty cool watching everyone play. I even got to play some of the Transformers Devastation, I think it is. And there was 2 younger folks. They were playing against the evil Decepticon called Blitzwing. Blitzwing was devastating them, and I've never played the game. I thought, I've seen people play it on YouTube though, and I was trying to give them suggestions like, I've seen you can do a vehicle attack when you're in the air, and they can slam down in car mode. And I thought, try that. But they didn't know how to do it. I didn't know how to do it. I don't know what the buttons do. But then they handed me the controller, and I said, here we go. Alright, I have no clue what any of these buttons do. There's like, how many buttons are on the Xbox 360? There's 8 at least. 9, 10 if you count clicking the sticks. So I found the 3 buttons that worked for me. The attack button, the jump button, and the roll/transform button. That's all I really had to work with. But I managed to beat Blitzwing, so that, he might be like a lower tier boss character, but regardless, I had a good time and destroyed the evil Decepticon, continuing the story, but then I just kind of wandered off and did something else. So the rest of the day I went to 8 o'clock was my next event that I wanted to check out, laser tag. I've never played laser tag before, and I thought I want to see what this is like. As it turns out, one thing I've learned from this week's convention is I need to get back in shape because that laser tag just destroyed me. So, with laser tag, you're going to be like, hiding behind a bunch of barricades and stuff. There was a team of 6 on my side and 6 on the other side. Each of you have like sensors around your head and a gun, of course, a laser tag. Your goal is to shoot the sensors on your opponent's head there, the target sensors. And I think they said that you start with like 75 hit points, and then every shot takes away a hit point. And when you get hit, your sensors light up so you know you're being hit, so you know to duck behind one of your barricades. And as you got low in health, you would start hearing like screams like ah ah as you get hit. So it's like a warning to let you know you're almost gone. Be more defensive. So since I'd never played laser tag, I wasn't sure what to expect. I thought this is going to be fun, and me and some of the other people on my team were kind of pinned down behind somewhere, just shooting whatever we can see. And I realized I don't have a very good vantage point. I'm going to try to hustle my way to another barricade. So, of course, you don't want to just walk over all nice and tall and high and mighty. So I'm kind of crouch walking, and then 2 or 3 people lean out and start shooting towards me. So I start crouch running. I get behind the barricade, and I realize that's really tough on the thighs. That was harder than I was expecting it to be. So after, I think it was about an 8-minute round they gave us. 8 minutes of that, I was kind of not limping so much, but I wasn't proudly walking back to where I was staying for the night. So I realized, yeah, hopefully for next year, I want to try to get into some better shape, not only for, mostly for doing something like laser tag again, and the dance, of course. You want to be nice and fit and healthy. So regardless of all my complaining about my, crotchety old legs, I still had fun, and I liked laser tag. I'll definitely try to check it out again. So that was the end of Saturday, and Sunday, the first thing that I went to actually wasn't until, 12 o'clock I decided to sit in on something. My main goal for Sunday was to go and just try to get some photos, because I like to get photos of costumes, but a lot of times I'm a little hesitant to interfere with people. Like if they're talking, I don't want to walk up, hey, can you stop talking so I can take your picture? I try to be more respectful of that, so I find that I miss out on a lot of cool photos I would like to get. So for Sunday, I tried to do the best I could to get some photos, and I did some pretty good, got some pretty good shots. I was also in my own costume, Super Saiyan 2, not Super Saiyan 2, I'm going to get to that point at some point, Super Saiyan Goku, and you'll see some shots of me in the photo gallery as well if you check it out. And not only did I get a lot of cool photos, but some people wanted photos of me, which was really fun, doing the classic Goku poses. And so at 12 o'clock, I went to go check out the Q&A session with John Delancey, just to see, see what the questions are. And I guess not only is he involved in, or he was involved with the Star Trek series back when Q was a character on that, he's also a voice, I think, of Discord in My Little Pony, which I've never seen, but apparently that's one of his claims to fame right now as well. So we checked out the Q&A, and after that, I kind of just wandered around again, just getting photos, checked out the gaming again once more, and then at 4 o'clock, they actually had the costume contest. So the way they did the costume contest, during the day, they would actually have pre-judging, where the judges of the contest would bring in the entrants, and more on a personal level, ask them questions about the costume and judge them based on that, just so that the judging was kind of complete, so they would be able to announce the winners right at the end of the contest itself. And at 5:15, I wanted to go check something else out. So the costume contest went from 4 until I think 6 o'clock it was scheduled for. And what that basically was is the judging has already sort of been done beforehand. This is the chance for the contestants to get up on stage and present their costume to the audience, because this is their chance to get like a big audience to check out all the work that they put into it. You should have seen the work in some of these costumes. Now, if you check out my photo gallery, you probably won't see many of those costumes because my camera died, my phone camera, the battery ran out partway into the contest. So one thing I've learned is, from this convention, I've learned I need to get in shape for laser tag. Another thing I've learned, I need a spare battery or a portable charger kind of thing so that I can keep my phone battery, or keep my camera phone battery good to go so I can keep getting photographs. So everything's a learning experience, and I think for Hal-Con 2016 I'll be more prepared. So a lot of the costumes though, like if you go to the Hal-Con website or check out their Facebook page, you should see some of the costumes that these people put together. There's one that I did get a photo of before the costume contest. This one of my favorite ones, I will say, fully armored Scyther costume. It's like a person wearing, Scyther styled armor. He had like the blades and everything, the wings were there, and like the 3 pointed parts of the helmet. It was one of the most impressive costumes, and when I first saw it, I didn't know if it was Scyther or not, so I actually asked the cosplayer, so what is that costume supposed to be? And then he said it was an armored version of Scyther. I said, I thought so, but I didn't want to say Scyther in case it was something from like another anime or something, and then I might feel stupid or whatever. But I know my Pokemon, apparently. I knew that one was going to be Scyther. So the costume contest went until 6 o'clock. What I had planned to do, as I said a moment ago, I wanted to go at 5:15 to check out something else. They were going to be airing an Ash vs. Evil Dead premiere screening up on the 3rd floor. And Evil Dead is a pretty gruesome series and stuff, so I still wanted to check it out because I like the actor Bruce Campbell. He's really funny, and he plays the role of Ash really well. However, unfortunately, that was canceled, so I wasn't able to check it out. But no big deal. I'm sure I'll catch it at some point. Would have been cool to see on like a big screen with like a whole audience there as well. But again, can't be helped. So I managed to check out the final parts of the costume contest, and at the end of it all, 6:30, they had the closing ceremonies. It lasted till about shortly after 7 or so, I think it was. Just letting people know, what the numbers basically were for this year and plans for next year. It's going to be on November, I think it was 6th, 7th, and 8th next year, and they're hoping to have it in the bigger new convention center that's being built down in Halifax. Or if it's not ready yet, they're going to continue it as they did this year at the World Trade and Convention Center, and it's adjacent to Scotia Square. So the names that they've mentioned for for next year's convention, they mentioned one person at first, which I don't remember right now, unfortunately, but they also announced 2 other characters, or 2 other people, the original voice actors for Sailor Moon and Tuxedo Mask. So that's kind of cool. But more, people that I more am familiar with. One of them they mentioned is Jeremy Bulloch, I think I'm saying it right, the original actor who played Boba Fett in Star Wars. And for anyone that knows me, Boba Fett is one of the people that I don't understand why he's so popular, because he never really did anything in the series. But that's a whole other story. But still cool that Boba Fett is going to be there. And Gates McFadden, who played Dr. Beverly Crusher, from what they said in the closing ceremonies, she actually contacted Hal-Con and asked if she could be a guest there. And, they jumped at that, of course. They want to get as many big guests as they can. So it's really cool that an actor came to them asking, can I be part of this? So it's going to be cool to see these people in at the convention next year. And I'm sure more names will be announced as the year goes on. So again, be sure to follow Hal-Con. Keep up to date on who's going to be there if you're interested in checking any of these people out. You might want to keep an eye out for when the tickets go on sale. Because as of when the tickets for this year went on sale, there was, I think, 5.5 days of time until all their weekend passes were sold. So that's not a lot of time. That's less than a week. If you want to be able to get a weekend pass, you want to be right on the ball, get your ticket as soon as you can. I know I'm going to definitely be trying to get my ticket as soon as I can as well. So that was basically a recap of the convention. Not as in-depth as some people might have done, but basically I'm just looking at it from my own perspective and the things that I was personally involved in. So, all that out of the way, I'm going to start mentioning the cool things that I bought for my collectibles. So the first thing I'm going to show off, well, this was actually something that came in the welcome bag that you get, a pair of Shrek ears, and they fit nicely on top of the Charizard hat. Not too bad. So I got those as a free giveaway for, I think it was for like the early access pass, because there was like a set number of gift bags that if you're there early enough you would get, and I think that's what the Shrek ears were part of. Now, the first thing I'm going to show off is I bought it from a storefront location in the vendor room called Premier Toys. It is I don't know what you would call this. It's basically a Dry Bones Koopa Paratroopa. I would think you just call it the Dry Parabones. It was pretty cool, and I figured for Halloween, since it was Halloween weekend, I wanted something a little spooky, scary. I thought, a zombified Koopa Troopa, why not? So, I think this is pretty cool. I'm going to see if I can fit them up onto the shelf somewhere here. The camera doesn't angle enough to see the top shelf, but I've got like my Mario and Sonic plushies up there, as well as some Pokemon as well. So, see if I can squeeze them in there, but if not, you might just have to find a spot right down here on the dresser behind me, so we'll be able to see them every time. Now, the other thing that I picked up, well, not the other thing, but a few other things, I'm going to show off right here. So, I stay with a friend down in Halifax, and her name is Melanie, and she makes these, and hopefully the camera will focus on this, she makes these cool little clay dragons, and these, this one here, as well as some of the other ones, have like glow-in-the-dark pieces, and I think she said the blue on this one lights up when you, when glow in the dark. And she makes some that are bigger than this too. They hold actual dice for like, Dungeons and Dragons. I thought that was pretty cool. I'm going to set this right here. I don't know where it's visible. Probably visible right there. And her contact information, if you want to check it out, and she takes commissions if you want to commission her to make something. And hopefully you can see this. I'll try to read it out. Is myalithia.deviantart.com. So you can go there and contact her. You can also contact her through her Facebook, and the information is on the other side of the bottom of the bag right there. So feel free to get in touch with her if you want her to make you something. And her friend Natalie also makes things as well. And I got a red Pikmin. Now she actually makes these in little terrariums, like glass jars with like dirt and grass and stuff like that. And I thought I'm just going to get the Pikmin itself because I can maybe put something together for it. And these actually, she had a whole bunch of these, and they sold out really fast because by the end of the third day, this was the only full Pikmin she had left. She still had some of the versions of like the sprouts when they're still in the ground. You just see like the leaf or the bud sticking up. But I thought, I'm going to get the final full Pikmin for my collection. So let's see if I can stand red Pikmin up with the dragon. And hopefully you'll stay there. Alright, so the next thing that I picked up, I'm going to show a friend of mine by the name of Melissa. I just dropped it. She makes, there it is. Sorry about that. She does 3D printing as well as 2D art, and she was selling rupees from The Legend of Zelda. And these are pretty cool. They come in like 3 different colors, and I think they were, you can buy like a set of 3, and I thought I'll get one of each color, so it's cool to have some rupees on hand. Her information from Mystical Sanctuary, you can see right here, and again, hopefully this will focus. You can get her information there, and there's also, on the back side, her Facebook, Tumblr, and Pinterest. So, I believe she also takes commissions if you want to check her out and see if, you get something put together, 3D printing perhaps, from Mystical Sanctuary. She also has a YouTube channel as well if you want to check out some other video game action, such as, most recently, the Mario Maker game. So I'm going to put the rupees up here. Don't know if you can actually see them on camera right now. And I also saw there was a gentleman doing some pretty impressive art, and I bought a few buttons. Now, at first, I was going to buy just the one, my favorite Ninja Turtle, Donatello, and I was like, I'm not sure, do I want to get just the one, or should I get a couple or whatever? I finally decided, you know what, let's just go all out and see if I can show them all off at once. One of each of the Ninja Turtles. I'm not going to be able to show these all. There we go, wait. So I got each of the Ninja Turtles. Donnie, Mikey, Raph, and Leo. And they're pretty cool, and this gentleman's name is James Niche, and you can see his information there. So if you want to check out some of his artwork, just go to his information and see what he has on display, and perhaps you can order a commission as well from him. So definitely I think I'm going to be wearing the Donatello for a while. It's my favorite Ninja Turtle. Now, I went to another place called Perler Pixelations, and their information is on the back here. Jessica Gabriel and April Ernst. They got their phone numbers plus their online contact information. So once you see what they've made, you might want to get in touch with them and see if they can make something for you as well. First thing is that I picked up. It's actually a 2-piece item. It is a Pokeball and a Squirtle. But the way they've arranged this is there's a space here in the Pokeball, and I can drop it if you like, and I can put the Squirtle in that little space, and actually stands up as a nice little desktop decoration, which I think is pretty cool. Now, the other thing that I picked up is quite the impressive piece. It is Majora's Mask from The Legend of Zelda. Look at this thing. Now, believe it or not, as impressive as this is, this wasn't the most impressive piece that they had this weekend. They had a Windfish from The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening on Game Boy Color, and it was at least twice the size of this. I'm not sure how much it was selling for, but somebody, actually bought it, and it was like say this big or so. It was huge. And I say Game Boy Color as opposed to Game Boy because of all the color details that they had in it. Pretty sure it was a colorized version of whatever the original Game Boy sprite might have been. But this is still quite impressive in its own right. Majora's Mask from The Legend of Zelda. Now, I got some artworks as well. First off, I picked up the pretty impressive Bowser, King Bowser Koopa. This was put together by Rebecca MacInnes, freelance animator and illustrator. She got an email on there. You can check her out. And she had artwork of a lot of the different Smash Brothers characters. I remember seeing Mega Man, and I'm trying to think who else was there. Definitely, well, of course, Bowser, Mega Man. Can't remember who else was actually in the display that she had up there, but this is very impressive art, and I really like the way she did this, like black and white imagery and line art for the character, but the colorful background and stuff. Mega Man had something like that as well, like a blue color around him, as opposed to like just the black and white line art for the character. So this is very good art. And the last piece that I have to show, brought to you by Manny Peters Art, Manny Peters Art Design, M-A-D, at www.mannypeters.com, Original Pop Culture Designs. Now, what I picked up was this pretty impressive and somewhat creepy looking Five Nights at Freddy's poster. So you can see the 4 classic characters. We've got Freddy, Chica, Bonnie, and Foxy, of course. So I picked this up, and they also were nice enough to throw in a little sticker of the same art as well. So that's pretty cool. And I really like the look of this, just the creepy red glow with like the blue kind of light in the background. Very good art. So those were my acquisitions from Hal-Con 2015, and I'm looking to pick up a bunch more at some point for 2016. Hopefully the money will be there that I can get a whole bunch more things. So this has been my full video recap of Hal-Con 2015. And I'm hoping to get back there for next year. Hopefully some of you might be there as well. And if so, I will see you there. Alright, thanks for checking out this video. And just before I go, I do have one last thing to mention. If I can reach them. I just knocked down the squirrel. I've got 2 booster packs of Pokemon to open up today. I've got the, Primal Clash and Phantom Forces. Let's tear these open and see what I get. So we're going to pop open these 2 packs of Phantom Forces and Primal Clash and see what I get and give you guys the code cards. But before we do that, I would just like to mention, I broke my Squirtle. I kind of popped it a little bit there. The bottom is loose now. I don't know if you can see that or not, but should be able to fix that with some glue, put it back together, and Squirtle will find a spot over on my dresser as one of my collectibles. Okay, so moving on to the more important stuff. We're going to cut open the Phantom Forces. And I think as I said last time I opened the Phantom Forces pack, I'm hoping to find a precious double colorless energy that I can use in my Golurk deck. So, code card for you folks is right here. So the first lucky viewer who can take this code to Pokémon TCG Online, thank you Focus, can redeem this for a 10-card Phantom Forces booster pack. If you happen to redeem this code, leave the other code coming up for another viewer, and hopefully we can share the fun of Pokemon TCG Online around to everybody. So, my cards are going to be a Gligar, Finneon, a Swirlix, not sure if we're focused or not here, that should do, and a Murkrow, Zubat. Uncommon cards start with a Lampent, good for Night March, a Mystery Energy, Battle Compressor, also good for Night March. Reverse foil card is a Steel Shelter. It's funny, I think I have more reverse foils of the Steel Shelter than the regular versions. So one more for the collection. Rare card of Phantom Forces is a holographic Regigigas with Daunt for 20. During your opponent's next turn, any damage done by the defending Pokemon is reduced by 40. And Heavy Impact for 4 energy does a powerful 100 damage. Alright, so that is Phantom Forces. And now, Primal Clash. I'm still looking for that second dive ball for my Swampert Slurp Up deck. Will today be the day that I manage to claim one? Or a second Swampert would be nice as well. Code card, right here for you. And there's a cat in my room. Psst, get out of here. So the code card right there for you. Take that to TCG Online and get yourself 10 cards of the Primal Clash. Now, for my cards, we're going to start with the commons being a Drillbur, Metatite, Honedge, a Trico, and Tangela. Uncommons are Masquerain, Archie's Ace in the Hole, Celio. Reverse foil card shall be a Weakness Policy, so still no dive ball, but nice shiny Weakness Policy is not that bad. And rare card shall be a Gorbis with Alpha Growth. So when you attach an energy to Gorbis, you may attach a second energy from your hand. Psybolt does 30, and flip a coin. If heads, your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed. So those are my cards. Hopefully you guys get some good stuff out of the online code cards. If you do, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you got. And also, leave a comment letting me know if you happen to attend Hal-Con, how was it for you? I'd be curious to know how things went and what different events you went to, and if you enjoyed yourself. Alright, so thank you for checking out this video, and I'll catch you next time.